And I'm going to read chapter 1, and that's what we're going to do today. Cool? So, know thyself and thy father God Allah. The genealogy of Jesus with 18 years of the events, life works, and teachings in India, Europe, and Africa. These events occurred before he was 33 years of age. These secret lessons are for all who love Jesus and desire to know about his life works and teachings. Dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons. They are for good, peace, and happiness for all those that love Jesus. Dear mothers, teach these lessons to your little ones that they may learn to love instead of hate. Dear fathers, by these lessons you can set your house in order and your children will learn to love instead of to hate. The lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity. As I am the prophet and the servant is worthy of his hire, you can receive this pamphlet at expense. The reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, they loosened the keys and freed these secrets. And for the first time in ages have these secrets been delivered in the hands of Muslims of America. All authority and rights of publishing of this pamphlet of 1927. The industrious acts of the Muslims of the Northwest and the Southwest Africa. These are the Moabites, Hamathites, Canaanites who were driven out of the land of Canaan by Joshua and received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle in that portion of Egypt. In later years, they formed themselves kingdoms. These kingdoms are called today Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. So that was the intro.
That was it?
No, that was the intro. That wasn't chapter 1. Oh. That was just like setting the scene. We're talking about Jesus before the 33 years. This is at from 18 to 33, when the Moabites, Hamathites, and Canaanites created Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, and Tripoli, and all those other tribes. So now we get into chapter 1. So, time never was when man was not. If life of a man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. If life of man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. The thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. No finite mind, which is a mind that is not infinite, no finite mind can comprehend things that are infinite. All finite things are subject unto change. All finite things will cease to be because there was a time when they were not. The bodies and souls of men are finite beings, and they will change. From the finite point of view, the time will come when they will be no more. But man himself is not the body nor the soul. He is the spirit and a part of Allah, which is God, the universe, or the energy. So while your body and the solar plexus, which is the energy form, we talk about the cellular respiration, all that, that's like the solar plexus kind of circulatory system on a cellular level, right? So the circulation and everything, at a period of time is going to be a time where the circulation won't stop and your body won't stop. But your energy cannot be created or destroyed. Your energy comes from the Most High, which we call a spirit, and that's in alignment with Allah or God or the universe. So that never dies. Your body goes away, all the finite things, the temporary things go away. What is infinite stays. Creative fate gave to man, to spirit body, a soul that he might function on the plane of soul. Gave him a body of flesh that he might function on the plane of things that made manifest. Why did creative fate give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? Soul can be S-O-U-L or it can also be S-O-L. Soul is also sun. So that's the solar plexus. Why did creative fate give to soul a body of flesh that he might function on the plane of things that are made manifest? Hear now, ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. Hear now, O protoplast in earth and plant and beast. Hear now, ye creeping things of earth, ye fish that swim, ye birds that fly. Hear now, ye wind that blows, ye thunders, and ye lightnings of the sky. Hear now, ye spirits of the fire, of water, earth, and air. Hear now, O everything that is or was or evermore will be, for wisdom speaks from the highest plane of spirit life. Man is a thought of Allah. All thoughts of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time, for the things that are concerned with time begin and end. The thoughts of Allah are everlasting of the past unto the never ending days to come, and so is man, the spirit man. But man, like every other thought of Allah, was but a seed that held within itself the potencies of Allah, just as the seed of any plant of earth holds deep within itself the attributes of every part of that special plant. So spirit man as seed of Allah held deep within himself the attributes of every part of Allah. Now seeds are perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfolded into life made manifest. The child is as perfect as the mother is. So man, the seed must be deeply planted in a soil that might grow, unfold, so does as does the bud unfold to show the flower. So that's kind of like a metaphor, if you will, because they say men hold the seeds and women have the flower or the soil. So it's like when you plant your seeds into a woman, make sure that the soil is a good soil, make sure the woman is a good woman, because the seed can only go as far as the mother goes. If the mother has a poor diet, the seed is eating that diet. If the mother has a poor mindset, the seed is going to have a poor mindset. You know what I'm saying? The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was full ordained to be the Lord of the plane of the soul and of the plane of things made manifest. So Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, threw forth this human seed into the soil of soul. It grew apace, and man became a living soul, and he became the Lord of the kingdom of the soul. Hark now, let every creature hear. The plane of the soul is but the ether of the spirit plane vibrating not so fast. And in the slower rhythm of this plane, the essence of life are manifest. The perfumes and the odors, the true sensations, and all of love manifest. So that was basically like procreation, the story of procreation and the creation of things. You could read this.
And these soul attributes become a body beautiful, a multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. And here he tarries many ages until his lessons are all learned. Upon the boundary of the plane of soul, the ether began to vibrate, slower still, and then the essences took on a final grip. The perfumes, odors, and the true sensations and all of love were clothed in flesh, and man was clothed in flesh. Perfected man must pass through all the ways of life, and so a carnal was full manifest, and nature that sprang forth from fleshy things. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. And this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight, that he might be the strength of Allah made manifest. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the Lord of all the plane of manifest, of protoplast, of mineral,
Do you understand what you're reading?
of beast, and he gave up his birthrights just to gratify his lower self.
Pause. What did you just read?
I'm internalizing this as we were brought into this world, knowing that there would be challenges for us. That our faith in ourselves would also be our faith in Allah.
Mm-hmm.
That we have to hold ourselves. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the Lord of all the plane of manifest, of protoplast, of mineral, of plant, of beast. It gave up his birthrights just to gratify his lower self. But man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Yet he must suffer trials and temptations manifold. But let him know that cherubim and seraphim that rule the stations of the sun and spirit of the mighty Allah, who rule the solar stars, are his protectors and his guide. and they will lead to victory. Man will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things he suffers on the plane of flesh and on the plane of soul. When man has conquered carnal things, his garb of flesh will then have served its purpose well, and it will fall, will be no more.
All right, so what you just read?
I feel like fully saved and redeemed from suffers of the plane of flesh and the plane of soul are him getting over his trials to be free of himself. Well, outside things, materialism.
Okay.
I would say the journey is basically what you're doing. You're trying to get away from everything that ties us down. I don't know about the feeling about being tied down by mortal flesh stuff.
Well, when you think about it, your soul or your spirit is more like air. So you gotta think about like how the cells move on an air level. They're more free. They take up, you can't really compact them into space. But when you're moving in the earthly realm, like your firmament, your physical, you can't be as free. You can't just go up in the air and start flying right now. You can't just, be outside and inside at the same time, flowing and stuff like that. So there's a certain level of restriction being within a firmament that creates for your light, your internal light, your soul, and your air, your breath, your holy breath. So, I mean, tied down has such a negative connotation. It's more so like, for me, personally speaking, it's more so like flipping the magician card, where it's like I can work with all elements, because we do. We work with fire, we work with air, we work with water. We are water, we are earth. We do have fire pits in our stomach, and we do breathe in the holy breath, and we have the ethers in our throat. So we have all the elements. We are all the elements. So I personally don't believe it's like being tied down. But when you get into the cellular movement of different places and stuff like that, Earth is, more condensed, compact. And yeah, we need a body to live. We need the body to live. And this part, it says, when man has conquered cardinal things, his garb of flesh will then have served its purpose, and it will fall, will be no more. So once you serve your purpose here on this plane, your flesh will no longer be necessary, and then your air can go on, whether it goes on into another flesh or whatever. That's up to you, and what you and your energy comes up with. Carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight. That he might be the strength of Allah made manifest. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the Lord of all plane of manifest, a protoplasm of mineral, of plant, of beast, but he gave up his birthrights just to gratify his lower self. So this is what we talked about when we first started reading Metuneta, right? When at once upon a time we used to move in alignment with nature. We complemented nature. But now people have been moving against nature. And when you move against nature, you move against yourself. You move against Allah. You move against the universe. A lot of that comes from indoctrination, how to treat your body. A lot of people have been taught to be afraid of nature, to be afraid of animals, or to hate them, or to conquer them, or whatever. And it's creating this, friction between us and nature. You know what I'm saying?
An imbalance in our symbiotic relationship where we're taking more than we're giving.
Yeah, and that's
And
because
now we're falling apart.
Exactly, and that's because of how we've been interpreting our flesh or our fleshly experience, or how we've been marketing to. We're constantly being marketed to that the flesh experience. If you want to have a good flesh experience, you have to have this and this and this and this, and go here and control this and blah blah blah. You got to be all these things, and so all of that marketing creates a friction between the flesh and nature. It doesn't have to be that way. Flesh can very well be in alignment with nature. Flesh is nature. But because of our behaviors, we have created a battle here between our higher and the lower self when they're supposed to be complementing each other. Now, a lot of times in the spiritual community, when people first become spiritual, the first thing they want to do is do away with the flesh.
Isn't that also what's happening in psychology, that whole debate? Nature versus nurture.
Nature versus nurture? Yeah. They're supposed to complement each other. They're supposed to complement each other, not go against each other. But if in your nurturing space, you're being taught to separate yourself from all natural things, and you're like, if you want to be safe, if you want to feel nurtured, you got to separate yourself from this, and this, and all those are natural things, then yeah, there's a conflict there. Because of how we're being indoctrinated and marketed to and stuff like that, there's now a conflict between our higher self and our fleshly self when it doesn't have to be a conflict there. One is not better than the other. They actually help each other. That's why we're here in this flesh. It's for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you'll hear that indoctrination too. You have to fight your flesh. You got to hate your flesh. You got to hate the physical and physical. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing. That's further. Now they've taught you how to disconnect yourself with nature and animals and plants. Now they're teaching you how to disconnect from yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's the ultimate separation, because then anybody can come in and control how your flesh moves if you're disconnected from your flesh. Anybody can come in and control your relationship with plants and herbs and things because you've disconnected from them yourself. You're no longer having personal experiences with the herbs, so anybody can come in and tell you, hey, you're going to experience this, you're going to experience that. And who are you to say no? You're not conducting your own experiments. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool that, we're intertwining, whatever, and all those things. Then he will stand untrammeled on the plane of soul, where he must full complete his victories. Unnumbered foes will stand before man upon the plane of soul. These he must overcome them every one. Thus hope will ever be beacon of light. There is no failure for the human soul, for Allah is leading on, and victory is sure. Man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah, and while Allah lives, man cannot die. When man has conquered every foe upon the plane of soul, the seed will have full opened out, will have unfolded in the holy breath, and the garb of soul will then have served its purpose well, and the man will need it nevermore, and it will pass and be no more, and man will then attain into the blessedness and perfectness and at one with Allah. All right? So we do away with the body. We don't need the body anymore. The goal is to be one with Allah, to be the one holy breath. But right now, it's kind of like Osmosis Jones, where we had to zoom in on the specific organelles of the cells to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And we had to come in personified form to regulate the organelles of the cells. Maybe think about the people as organelles of the cells, right? And they're doing the respiratory system, but they haven't been doing it correctly. They want to breathe in fucking potpourri and Lysol and all that stuff. They breathing in all these different chemicals. Goals. They're not making ATP anymore. They're not making H2O. They want to make M2O. But that's making you sick. So now you gotta mentally come down to that body part, personify yourself so that you can communicate with the organelles. Same thing you do now with your body. I don't like something. I'm about to breathe, meditate, do my Reiki, focus on those cells, talk to them, tell them, hey, bro, you're not doing what you need to do. That's basically what we're doing in the human body. We're coming down and saying, hey, y'all ain't really been doing the cellular respiratory system correctly. And we know how to do it. So can we help y'all do it? Let's people won't fight you. Because over time, by them incorrectly doing the cellular respiratory system, new organisms have been attached to the N2O. New organisms, they love this N2O shit, and they're having babies and having families and all that. They're building upon the incorrect way. So those beings are going to fight you. We don't want H2O. If you give us H2O, we're going to die. Yeah, but N2O is not the way to do it. You're not even supposed to be here. You got to go where the N2O is. You in the wrong spot, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be adversity. It's going to be foes because it's people that's comfortable and that benefit over doing things incorrectly. And so they're going to fight you because of that. You disrupting people's comfort zones by coming in with the correction. And you're going to see that a lot as we go through history class, and you see the leaders that come down and they give us the correct. Shoot, we're going to talk about the story of Jesus. You want to see this man came down and was like, cellular respiratory system supposed to go like this. You're supposed to set up your kundalini like that. If you believe like this and do Reiki like that, you can really do some stuff. But it was so many people benefiting off of the community not knowing these things, because then they can control. Y'all my slaves. Y'all gonna keep working Monday. And back then they had 10-day work weeks. Whereas we only got 7 days a week, they had 10. And they worked for 8 of them. So it was like, nah, bro, you making people not want to work no more. They're not putting money in the banks no more. They're not messing with the government no more. We need that N2O. And you over here teaching people about H2O, about nature, about how things supposed to be free. You giving them their birthright back. We can't survive off of them having their birthrights. So that's where the foes come in. But if you have trust in Allah, if you have trust in that higher spirit, and you align your soul, like you said, I trust myself, I trust Allah. So some people might come to you like a snake in a garden and make you question everything you're doing. I say that on a personal level. Sometimes there's snakes in the garden that come in my head like, am I doing the right thing? Am I wrong? Because there's so many people moving against me. There's so many people, no matter what I say, they're not listening. And I'm not trying to control nobody, but like, why y'all not listening? Why are you so addicted to the N2O if it's killing you? The H2O is literally right here, and it's easier to obtain because it's in alignment with Allah. And y'all would rather have the N2O? Y'all would rather struggle to kill yourselves?
Everyone, I think something you need to realize is the main thing about cells. All cells are copies of the pre-existing ones.
Right.
Their nucleus, the DNA, that tells them what to do, is already built up from their parents, which you said yourself are either the seeds carrier, the bees, or the
soil.
Yes.
So we gotta. So having that level of consideration, how do we come forth with the word on how to reprogram them? We got to come through like a virus. You know how a virus moves? It comes in with the RNA and it attaches itself to the cell and it just starts pooping its DNA into the cell's nucleus.
I was going to say antibiotics is what we would be.
Antibiotics is what we would be, okay.
You would have to, just like people have been doing for a decade. Even as much as antibiotics you give them, just because you show them the danger, you show them how people truly are, that doesn't mean they will internalize it. To the point where others, our foes, will either manipulate the story or turn it over to their side with bribery and other such.
So in the realms of Mayat, when I did the Sunday service, I like that you said that, because that sometimes that brings me back to the conclusion of what am I doing and on how grand of a scale is it supposed to be done? Because it'd be like, you can't force nobody, having the sense of consideration that you have, that these are this is a generational thing for certain cells. So like they're just copying the parent cells that have been there for maybe hundreds of years. That gave them that DNA code to move like that, to make the N2O. So when I come with my H2O drone, I'm disrupting their whole lineage situation.
Yes.
So
and the way we talk about identity, it makes us. We see mentally that our mental selves, our personifications, is us. The way we do when we talk to our straw man, because that's how we perceive ourselves, because that's what we show others. It's a mask. If you break that mask, we lose ourselves, our identity, our sanity. We basically feel ourselves as nothing, and we are left with nothing, because some people only live off their mask and they don't know how to be themselves.
That's a good one. Some people live off their mask and they don't know how to live without it. That's a good one.
I just broke my pen by accident. Dang.
So in that realm of things, when we get into Mayat, it's not about going literally to war with other people. It's like, if I stay true to what the cellular respiration system is supposed to be, and I know about the ATPs, and I know about glycolysis, and I know about, and the reason why we're using cells as an example is because this is a tie between our science class. We're doing the cellular system in science. So if I stick to what I know, and I keep replicating, like I got you and Miles, I have two baby cells that I've given life to. And if I teach y'all how to create H2O, and then y'all have children that create H2O, and then y'all, eventually we're going to create an environment where these people with N2O cannot exist. And we've done that without pulling out a sword. We've done that without killing people. We've done that without going into antibiotics mode, because antibiotics mode, they kill everything, good and bad, whoever in the way. You know, we've
wiped the slate clean.
Yeah, just by being in alignment with what Allah told us and walking in that path, it's contagious, because there's other cells that can live without the mask, right? And so they're getting it's like, oh, they don't got their mask on over there, and they breathing just fine. In fact, they make an H2O over there. We can make H2O too. So now we're influencing other cells to go back to their natural state, because maybe they still got some memory in their DNA to make H2O. And then we keep replicating our own lineage to make H2O. And so we're doing all of that, and we're getting rid of the N2O makers and the N2O survivors. And we didn't have to engage in any type of violence. We didn't have to fall out of line with Allah or Mayat, because if everybody is a reflection of Allah, that means that the person that wishes to do me harm is also a reflection of Allah. And if I want to be in alignment with Allah, I can't do harm to this person. The only thing I can do is stick to mine. And you'll see that in a lot of stories. Like, I know a lot of people spoke on violent behavior. A lot of people spoke on wanting to be that kind of revolutionary. But did they do it, though? No, they didn't do it, because despite how much they talked about it, even in moments of anger, like it was one time Malcolm X had somebody had threw a brick in his crib. Somebody shot up his house. So when he went to the church to speak, he was pissed. He was pissed. He was talking about killing people, this, that, and the third. But did he do it, though? No. Because he's still in alignment with Mayat. He still knew, I just got to keep teaching people how to make H2O, no matter what. No matter what, just keep teaching people how to make H2O. Because even if I'm gone, like in here when it say, once you fight the cardinal energy, your flesh is no more good. You don't need the flesh no more. So you come out of the flesh like a flower, and your soul, your holy breath go back up. Even in that space and time of the holy breath going back up, he had created so many beings able to create H2O now, that now there's a lineage of H2O makers. There's still some N2O makers, of course. But
still a legion.
Yeah, but now there's more people confident to make the H2O. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So what's your conclusion to this whole thing? Let's wrap this up.
I feel like we really just scienced everything down from faith. And
Spirit science.
Yeah, spirit science. I think that was the thing we used to watch.
Mm-hmm. It's a cool animated genre.
Kind of miss it.
So what's your summary statement for this whole first chapter?
How would I write this? As Legion comes and challenges us as we walk the path from plane of soul to plane of flesh, with power of manifestation, we must understand our foes and as they wish harm to us, we do not condone doing it to them. That's what I take from it. There will be times where we falter, but we have to stand up and act as pillars in order for our will to spread.
Mm-hmm. That's it? That's what we got?
That's what I got from your analogy.
Okay, from the great Ezekiel L. That's what we got. All right. Peace, y'all.